Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. Okay, today we're going to be talking about something, well, put it this way. Out of all the Amazon users I know or sellers that I know, we talk about Pinterest, but probably 1%, maybe even less than 1% of people that I am talking to on Amazon use Pinterest. Well, hopefully, we're going to change your mind in today's episode. We're going to be talking about why Amazon sellers should take a look at Pinterest, what makes Pinterest audiences different, and the action steps you need to take to build up your audience. Okay, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, like I said, today, hopefully we're going to either get you going on to Pinterest, get you to figure out why you're not using Pinterest, and how to drive an audience from Pinterest over to your Amazon listings. So our guest today is co-founder of Pinformative, an agency that works with Pinterest and scales 7, 8, and 9-figure brands to marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, Shopify, Etsy. And with over 15 years, he's been involved with over 250 top-selling items scaling across these multiple marketplaces. He's also worked with many well-known companies over the world, such as Universal Studios and BBC Television in the UK. And today, our newest guest is Matt Parker. But before we get to Matt, let's have a word from our sponsor. If you're selling on Amazon in 2022, you know how important it is to stand out from your competition. Let Hono Worldwide lend a helping hand with your product innovation to outcompete your competition online. That's right. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the success of your newly innovative product while Hono handles all the work. Visit honoworldwide.com for more information. That's Honu, Honu, worldwide.com, or email savings@honuworldwide.com. Okay, where's the boy Blunder?
That's me. Hello. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July to you. Well, happy Canada Day, 4th of July weekend. How's that?
Yes. I hope everyone is having a great time today. And let's start off with smashing those like buttons, giving us a thumbs up if you are enjoying today's episode. If you have any questions at all, this is your time to put them over in the comment sections. We're going to be answering them the second half of the show, so make sure you get them in. I think there's going to be a lot of questions on today's episode, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great episode. And if you're watching from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. It's the big thumbs up that you can click on, and don't forget to ring the bell so you can get all the notifications. If you are watching from Facebook, make sure you head over to the Lunch with Norm Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective. That's where all the fun happens. Actually, Norm, you don't even know this yet, but I've been talking to Carbon 6, and we're going to do a little fun webinar this Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Go over some tools. We're going to be giving away
while I'm in the air.
Free software. Yep, I'm taking over. So if you want free access to some free tools from Carbon 6, check out the webinar happening on Friday. Just make sure you join the Facebook group down below. And I think that's it from me.
Very good, Kels.
Nice.
Pretty sure you're going to just be taking over the whole podcast host side of things. People would probably prefer it. There you go. Okay. So, look, we can get right into this. I'm going to be interested to see how many of our Beard Nation is going to be listening today with the July 4th weekend. So hopefully they're going to spend an hour with us. Okay. So let's get started. If you have any questions or comments, throw them over in the comment section. And if there's not right now, of course, then sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, Norm. How are you doing?
Well, I got my pumpkin look on. I'm surrounded by orange. My lights aren't working. My camera was not working. The whole time I was doing my introduction, I was looking at the camera that's not working. So I forgot that it's on my laptop computer today. so
Well,
I'm looking off at the distance, where my camera normally, well, it's still sitting, it's just not working. But what a start.
well, it could be worse. I mean, I'm in a makeshift studio at the moment. Normally, I'm in my other studio, but I'll explain a bit later what I'm doing. But I'm in a half-painted room at the moment. Hope it's coming across okay. But there you go. You do what you've got to do when you've got to do it. So
that's right. Exactly. So, Matt, did I miss out on anything? I'm sure there's lots that I missed out on our intro.
No, it was a great intro. I really appreciated it. I mean, yeah, epic intro, to be honest. I mean, there's not much. I mean, the thing is, just to kick it off, is that I think what the overview is of that intro is that I've been in e-commerce for a while. I'm part of the eBay global development team, and I'm not just Amazon, but I've had two seven-figure Amazon businesses in the UK. So I've got an overlook of sort of all of e-commerce, but I'm not kind of like I class you as kind of like a surgeon. I'm more like a veterinarian. So I'm kind of looking at different skeletal systems, and I call them, all these different marketplaces. And when I kicked this off, when I looked across the whole of e-commerce, the only place that facilitated freedom of terms of service traffic was Pinterest. And I'm multimedia as well. So you've got the videos, the algorithms, what you call it, metadata, because I used to work with Macromedia years ago. So I used to do animations, all kind of animations in JavaScript. And now with the way things have gone, especially I think with the pandemic, that excelled a lot of things, and media as well, as we know with TikTok and Snapchat and all that kind of stuff. I think that now it's kind of like I've fallen into this synergy between multimedia and e-commerce. So here we are.
Well, one of the things I started off this whole podcast with was talking to Amazon sellers and talking to e-commerce sellers. And although this is like press releases, I talk about press releases, and let's say Pinterest, they get the same response. People nod and wave, but they never do it. So I don't know an Amazon seller, not one, that's selling on Pinterest. Not one. Yeah. So tell us why Pinterest.
Okay, so I'll give you some facts. I mean, I suppose that helps, and some overview of why people, I believe, should be using it, especially from an organic traffic point of view. So about 2 months ago, just before Prosper, I met up with the vice president of engineering at Google in Burlingame in San Francisco, and we had a discussion, and I had some very direct questions. And my question was, what is the synergy, and how does Pinterest work? Because Pinterest is actually built on something called the K8s Kubernetes system. Now, this system is an open source system that Google run. So every single board that you create on Pinterest, people just see the thing is, you're absolutely right. I'm going back to the question that you said. Everybody goes, oh, well, I've not got time for Pinterest, or, oh yeah, Pinterest, but I'll look at it tomorrow, that kind of thing. I get it. I'm hearing that quite frequently. But they don't understand the actual data, the deep data underneath the actual aesthetically pleasing platform that they see, the images that they see. And so what they don't realize is that every single board that you create on Pinterest has the same URL weight as a domain URL to rank on Google for free.
Are you serious?
So I'm very serious. This is the crazy stuff that I'm kind of like facilitating with our agency. So every single board that you create with broad term keywords on Pinterest ranks on Google's KAS and ranks exponentially. I mean, we give you another example. So when we were doing A/B testing for 2 years, we've done it for about a year, but I was looking into it a little bit before then, and we did testing with videos. Now, videos on Pinterest and rich pins carry metadata. So that means that they rank on Google's SEO. And as we all know, Google at the moment is quite lucrative for Amazon community because you can pay for Google ads, you can get things up there, get redirected traffic, etc. We managed to actually get to position 0 with a 2.5 billion search term for free in the UK, in the US. Position 0 for free organically on a video pin on Pinterest. And I was like, this is just crazy. This is just crazy. And so, because the thing is, if you think about it, because it's on Google's system, YouTube videos, service pins rank highly as well. So there's that synergy between YouTube and Pinterest as well, because obviously Google is YouTube. He even told me, I'll drop this in there, that Google are actually working on releasing a YouTube organic platform with its own ads incentive. So you could redirect to Amazon through that as well, if you wanted to. That's not happened yet.
Again? Okay, you got my interest.
So YouTube are actually releasing their own platform with its own ads platform. That's what he told me. Now, that's interesting, but makes sense, because if you think, I mean, I told someone else who was quite a prestigious person in the industry, and this lady just went, well, I can see why. Because if you've got TikTok and Snapchat and all these other video-based platforms on your heels, wouldn't you want to facilitate these things and make them into a buyable thing immediately? So there's all these things happening underneath the hood that people aren't seeing. And our job is to go, okay, what's happening underneath these images and how can we facilitate this for clients? There's just a few points, I can go off on a few more. So you've got the potential to, I think one of the main things that people miss is you've got the potential to launch products for free and build up kind of a velocity behind the boards. So what I mean by that is you're able to create velocity before an item drops, before you've got your stock. We've had stock problems, obviously, across the world with globalization being messed up and different things. So you've got the potential to create this velocity through followers. However, people have a misconception of followers on Pinterest as well. Because if you look at Instagram, you look at followers on Instagram, you've got selfies, you've got people promoting in like music events. My brother's a DJ over in Australia, so I know he utilizes it for that kind of thing. But the followers on Pinterest are already interested in the topic that you're going to launch to. So on the funnel, they're already underneath the awareness stage. They're already considering your product. So if you can get all these people interested already in, say, for example, skiing, then if you've got a ski wear product you want to launch, you build up that interest and that's free and just rolls. Suddenly, you've got this audience that you can launch to as well. So there's lots of different strategies that you can perform on Pinterest, where in a lot of other places, you'd probably be breaking terms of service, but they kind of endorse that free flow marketing approach, so to speak.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, I just saw, Jacob, this reminds me. All right. Hey, I know everybody tunes in for the Wheel of Kelsey. If you're brand new listening to the wheel about the podcast, we do have a section that kind of makes us unique, and that is called the Wheel of Kelsey. We've changed that format just a little bit. It's going to be hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, but we also have a mystery word. We found that so many people were putting in hashtag Wheel of Kelsey even before we started the episode that nobody knew what the giveaway was. So sometimes, people loved the giveaway. Sometimes people didn't even want the giveaway because they weren't at that level of their journey yet. So we've implemented this mystery keyword that is going to, up halfway through, let you know what it's going to be about. And it's kinda, I think, going to be around Pinterest today. So just kind of keep that in mind. Anyways, I love this subject because I don't know a lot about, I used to be a pinny. I have my own, I pinned all the time. And I've got MMA, tattoos, all the stuff that I absolutely, surfing. I don't do it anymore. Grease come after me anytime I go to the water. But anyways, I loved Pinterest at the beginning. I haven't pinned in years. I got it just honest. I haven't done it myself in years. So what you're talking about is really cool. And when you talk about launch, I'm going to get to, I don't know if you've been noticing, but I've been making some notes as you're talking. One of the things that I'm very interested in is how do you build that audience or that follower base?
Okay, so there's a number of ways, really. I mean, the followers on Pinterest have the same weight on the algorithm as the created pins that you create. So if you think of them as two separate things, I think that's important. Now, when you're creating followers, it's very important that you obviously follow people who've got a similar interest. If you want to go down that route, if it's a hobby, because I know you mentioned tattoo art. Tattoo art's a big thing actually on Pinterest. I know quite a few tattoo artists on there. But if you can sort of target people who are interested in the product you're going to launch, then you can actually join their boards. So you could join their boards that rank on Google SEO and correlate that with yourself. So for example, if you find somebody who's a big influencer and they're a great tattoo artist and you want to sell your tattoo designs, wouldn't it be cool if you got one of the best tattoo artists in the world on Pinterest to shout your name out and drive that traffic to you on influence? So you've got influence as well. You know, that's another angle. You could get influencers, micro influencers to come in. The other thing is that people have business and public boards, so that basically you can share boards with other people and collaborate with them. So if you're a professional sports athlete, I know that Gymshark are a big voice on Pinterest. They've got a big account on Pinterest. They get quite a lot of traffic, and they're a multi-billion-pound, brand. And so they have a lot of people who shout their name out, or they'll go to events and correlate with people who are maybe weightlifters or bodybuilders or, whatever, sports athletes, track. There's so many interests within that field that if you've got one specific product that you want to niche down on, for example, if you've got some specific track shorts that you want to sell, you could target people who are interested in running or interested in, and you could actually refine that on a demographic level. I think the thing is, and I totally get where you're coming from with the Amazon community not sort of interested in it, is because I think personally, and I was one of these people, I think it's misunderstood. I think people see it as just this beautiful platform, from what I'm hearing, with beautiful images, etc. And it's so much more than that. I mean, if you look at it in a different way, instead of looking at the Porsche and looking how nice it is on the outside, if you look underneath that, the engine, you can see there's some serious stuff you can do. And another thing is, I will speak about this more so. And I actually I got a message off Danny McMillan today. And I'm not allowed to say too much on the project he's doing, but I've got a project that I'm kind of doing with him.
Well, come on, share it.
No, I can't. Listen, he will kill me. He's a fit guy. I'm not there yet. He boxes.
I'll do a Connie Chung. Just whisper it. Nobody will hear.
No, he'll kill me. But what I will say is he's going to be launching something called Men 40 Plus. And I'm doing something. This is why I'm actually in a gym studio at the moment. I'm going to be finishing. I've been training for 13 days, and I'm doing 150 days training as part of a social project where I've got TikTok. We've got 162,000 followers cleaned. We've got Snap, YouTube, and we're going to show the power of Pinterest through SEO and Google, like we just said. And I'm going to present the results at the Empowery Festivus over in Idaho in December. So it's a 5-month project where I'm training with some top athletes. I started 13 days ago, and he's doing something in November, December. Can't speak about it too much, but there's a synergy. But the idea is, if we can build this momentum, I'm looking at maybe 5 to 10 million traffic flow on Pinterest from sort of funneling all these socials into Pinterest. And then what you can do is, obviously with attribution, etc., is go out towards Amazon or wherever you choose. I know we're talking predominantly about Amazon, but we did notice at the Prosper show, about 80% of people now have like a complementary store like Shopify or whatever. You could be directing them to where it's working and complementing both the stores, if you've got that dual look on things. And each thing has its own benefit. Every sort of marketplace we found, for example, one crazy thing is that Shopify have buyable pins where you click on the buy button, buy now, it pulls the stock from the inventory and you never leave Pinterest. So it literally, you get a 50% extra conversion on your pin. And you can actually have pins with metadata called rich pins, which I think is for WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce. And basically, when you update your website, it updates the pin automatically through Meta. But then you've got Amazon where you get up to 10% back on attribution, right, and redirect them with all that flow. So I think the point is that my advice, and I'm going back to the original question, is if you can build your socials and integrate them into Pinterest, it's almost like and I call it the air traffic control of e-commerce. You can redirect people with this multi-flow wherever you want to go and take it from there.
One of the things I refer back to Stephen Black. He was on and he was talking about building a community, listening, like going in and listening to your community on a Facebook group. And I sell soap. It's no secret. I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if I could not only build a board percent, but also build a community of soapers. So I could go to them and start getting them to contribute, their favorite recipes or how they do it, videos on how they do it. So start to build out, and they're the influencers they're the hobbyists. They're making their soap. But if they can, my board or my Pinterest account, I'm not sure, it's just my account, I guess, right? Then I guess I'm building in the group that way. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could do that. And then you could link them up. So you could say, excuse me, would you like us to? Because if you think about it this way, you can actually obviously follow boards, but they follow you back. But as your boards get followed, again, people just see the front end, don't they? They just see these boards that are getting more followers. But underneath, Google, bang, 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 suddenly somebody types in a product like soap, for example, and it comes up at the top of, near the top of Google because you've affiliated maybe with Gillette or, big brands who are on there who you've got this synergy with. And I think it's really powerful. Oh, so, that's a good question, actually. I just saw a question pop up then. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Could I answer that? Is that okay?
Yeah, usually we'll answer at the end, but let's take this question.
Yeah. Here, I'll read it out so the audio listeners can hear it. So this is from Argo. I noticed that the Amazon listings no longer have the social media buttons, including Pinterest.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut in then, Norm. I just saw that and I was thinking, that's a great question and it's something that I'll answer. I understand this. So the reason why they've been dropped is because so many people were spamming them. So what you used to be able to do was click on the Pinterest button underneath the buy box on Amazon and then just pin across. However, that came with some cons as well, some negatives in that it's shared it, but you didn't really have any deep data and you couldn't edit the pin. So actually, I think it's not a bad move from Amazon to remove them because it's stopping spammers and it's stopping people who want to sort of develop the pins. They can't edit them. So now what you do is create a new pin, edit the pin, put the URL or attribution code in where the URL should be on the pin. But I just want to give one tip to Argo and everyone else out there. If you're going to put a URL in the pin, make sure that you do it through especially if you've got a brand, make sure you do it through your shop URL and not the global search URL, because you could end up promoting I've seen this happen, end up promoting your competitor's buy box, and people do it. So if you just search on Amazon, grab the link and put that in the pin, and somebody else owns that buy box, you're suddenly promoting your competitors. So you've got to be careful. Search for it within your store, grab that link and put it in. That's just a bit of advice for anyone out there.
Good point. So instead of going to your product listing directly, go to your store and get the link.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So going back to the audience for a second, how much time does it take? Like, this is another, when I'm talking about Pinterest, this is what I hear. It'll take so much time. So how much time should it take to build up an audience?
It depends on your goal, really. Whether it's a piece of string. I suppose it's like with Amazon.
That's my favorite saying, by the way. How long is a piece of string?
Well, it's like saying to somebody, "How long will it take me to sell my stock if I list my FBA item tomorrow?" Well, if you've got 30 items, you're going to get more sales, possibly, unless the items aren't relevant or whatever. With Pinterest, my advice is just the problem is with Pinterest is that it started a while back, but it actually floated, I believe, on the stock market 2019. So there's been a lot of injection, a lot of development in those last few years. So when you look at it now, the algorithm, we have to keep up with this from a data point of view and from API. It changes all the time. Now, more so recently that it changed where created content has more prominence than repinning. Repinning is taking somebody's pin or an idea and pinning it to your board. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is because they had a lot of AI bots or spam bots that was repinning daily, and created a market which was just reconditioned repins with no fresh content. So my advice is repin maybe once a day. It takes minutes just from your store, just one pin a day. And it can, if you get into a routine, these little micro things, this just one pin a day can actually add up to, say, 30 pins in a month. If you think about that, if you did that for, say, a couple of months and just took those 5 minutes out, suddenly you might have a lot of followers interested in what you do. And I've seen accounts, I mean, the sweet spot is about 1,000 followers where it starts to avalanche, starts to really gain some momentum. But I've seen accounts where people have left it there. They've done the right thing initially, left it there for a year or two, come back. They've suddenly got about 3,000 followers. And it's like, these are all people interested you could launch to. Get on it. Just launch to them, because they're following you. It's kind of like the same algorithm as, it's not the same, but it's got that sort of correlation with Instagram and TikTok. If people are interested or people have got you in their view, then the algorithm will throw that video or pin within their reach. So if you have all those followers and you built that up just by doing one pin a day, then, suddenly you've got this thing that's evergreen, that's running on Google, that you could just be throwing things at day in, day out. And, I've seen it working.
Very good. So we're going to take a break for a second. I just want to explain again. Today, we have a different format in Wheel of Kelsey. So it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. And Kelsey, just tell me, I think it's going to be hashtag Pinterest. Is that correct?
You nailed it. Good job.
I thought so. So the mystery word is Pinterest. So hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, and then Pinterest or hashtag Pinterest. That will get you entered. If you want a second entry, tag 2 people and you'll get a second entry. Now, today's giveaway, like I said, you can guess it, but I'm going to let Matt tell you what that is.
Yep. So the giveaway, we're giving away a free sign up to our e-learning portal and course. It's something that we are constantly working on, and at the moment we're going to be really kicking it up a notch. So yeah, we're going to give that away, and people who are on it are going to get the what's the word? They're going to get videos that are going to be fed to them with information on how they can use that to utilize their account. This
is great. Again, I've not used Pinterest efficiently, effectively. I've heard of it. I've talked about it, but this course is awesome. So just think, you want to have that heads up, like that one up on the competition. Well, guess what? They probably aren't doing Pinterest. Google loves Pinterest. You're going to learn how to, work within Pinterest. And I think that, I think it's a great prize. I'm going to enter it too, because I want a chance to win, but I'm just not doing it. And like, just after we talk, I'm going to get on with Kelsey and we're going to talk to our social media people. We got to get going with this, like just building up those followers. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the different types of pins, but also, step-by-step actions. But guys, if you're interested in this course, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey and then hashtag Pinterest, you'll be entered. Tag 2 people, double entry. And Kelsey, a word from our sponsor, please. A big thank you to our sponsor, Post Purchase Pro, the only complete A to Z done for you real email and text marketing service built specifically for Amazon sellers. My friends Sean Hart and Seth Stevens co-founded Post Purchase Pro after launching over 1,000 successful private labeled products, growing 53 brands, and get this, exiting 17 businesses. Post Purchase Pro creates all of your digital assets 100% for you, from marketing inserts, complete sales funnels, email follow-up sequences, and weekly email promotions. They manage and optimize everything for you to drive more sales, get higher ranking, and receive more reviews on Amazon. So check out Post Purchase Pro now to see if you too will see enormous growth like their nearly 500 clients worldwide. That's Post Purchase Pro at postpurchasepro.com/lunch. Did I say post-purchase pro? By the way, try doing a call out like that, and it's a tongue twister. I'm telling you, too many P's.
Yeah, you wouldn't see me saying that fast. Not a chance.
But awesome company. Okay, so I have got some basic questions, and then I've got some really, I think, things that are going to turn it up a bit. But for me, I don't know all the types of pins. Can you go through like what somebody can expect, or what's the best pins? What's a typical pin? What's a board? Can we just go through those really quickly?
Yeah, sure, yeah. So a board, if you imagine on your desktop, you create a folder. That's pretty much what a board is. It's just a folder that contains pins, but they have to be correlating. So if you create a board and you have a broad term keyword board, like, I don't know, kitchenware, you got to make sure there's kitchenware within there, otherwise it won't rank very well. So have that synergy between them. A board, as we know, it ranks on Google now, but a lot of people really don't know that. So it's very important that when you create a board, you do it very well and thought through. Otherwise, if it ranks on Google and you break that connection on the URL, it can have detrimental effects on how that ranks on Google. Because as you know, Googlebot, it takes time. So you've got to make sure you think that through at the beginning. That's just a basic knowledge of a board. Pins go onto the boards. You can repin people's boards, which go into a saved board. So that means that somebody who's got some content that you like, it can be an infogram, it can be, maybe the top 10 tips on how to style your hair. You could repin that on your board, but you could be drawing traffic in. So there's saved boards, but there's created boards as well. So created boards are boards that you've got created pins that you've done yourself. These can include your standard pins, which are what you can put the URL or attribution URL on from Pinterest. You can also put video pins in your boards. Videos rank highly, again, on Google. One thing I would say is that I spoke to Ryan Kramer, I think it was late last year, and I said, if you've got YouTube videos, maybe just 12, 15 second stints, put them on your boards because they can rank pretty highly and you can redirect traffic wherever you want to go. So video pins, probably I would personally say the most powerful on Pinterest. You've got service pins where you can put services on. So you don't just put products, you can sell services. You've got your idea pins. Idea pins are great for CTAs, call to actions. So it could be something that will capture the audience. It could be, I don't know, how to dress as a fairy for, a small girl, and, something that's more engaging, and you can redirect them through ideas. Again, that's quite powerful. And idea pins actually rank the highest on Pinterest at the moment. So whether that lasts, because it's the newest form of pin, I don't know. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't do too many idea pins, because then it might drop if you've decided to do all of those. You can actually do a carousel pin. So that's kind of like if you've got your parent and your child SKUs or ASINs, you can create a carousel of those ASINs to engage the audience in a multiple way. So it's just basically like a video, but you're just putting static images in there, and it's a carousel. I'm trying to think if I've missed any here. That's pretty much the main pins that I would focus on. You've got recipe pins that you can use, but if you're coming from an Amazon point of view, I would say they're the main pins that you need to focus on. The other thing you can do within boards, which isn't actually registered on Google yet, is put sections in boards. So if you've got a lot of pins, we always say over 50 pins, make sure that you put sections in your boards so that people aren't overwhelmed by how many pins are in there. It's kind of like on your desktop, you've got a folder, you've got a subfolder. The only thing is with these sections is that they don't actually rank yet. However, my advice is we've spoke to engineers that could be changing. So if you're organized in the first instance, I think that could help you as well, because obviously you don't have to do the legwork afterwards, and they might rank on Google as well. And then, so we've covered boards, we've covered pins. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really that you need to know. You've got to make sure with your profile. So your profile is a bit like, if you imagine that being kind of your homepage or your shop front on Amazon, that's got its own place on the algorithm. So make sure that your image is relevant. Don't do an image that is, you think, oh, it's great, it looks fantastic, branding, and it's nothing to do with the products. Make sure it all ties in, because the image engine at Pinterest is one of the most sophisticated on earth, and it reads the image. And get this, Pinterest actually keywords your image before the description. So your image is keyworded first before your description, your alt text, and your title. So if you put an image in there that has no relevant keywords within it, for example, if I had an image behind me and it was a lifestyle image, and you had, for example, you saw in a bed, the bed is in the background and only takes up 4 to 5% of that image, but a lampshade is at the front, it could get confused to think that the lampshade is the main keyword. So make sure that your image is prominent with the products you're trying to sell. That's actually a big factor. And make sure it correlates. So when I say that, make sure that the image ties in with the description ties in with the title. And in the alt text, people usually put alt text in there, obviously, because it's for people who are partial of hearing, etc. But my advice is put some keywords in there. And here's a little tip as well. Put some hashtags in and put a website in as well if you need to, because it can rank that doubly. So there's a bit of a drop for you. The alt text is more powerful than people realize on the algorithm. And finally, with the profile and with the boards, you have a description. Now, these descriptions aren't just for keywords. You've got to make sure they're kind of I don't know what the percentage ratio is. I'd say 50-50, but make sure that they're conversational and keyworded. So make sure that they aren't just bed, doorknob, try and say we sell kitchenware and bronze pans, make it a bit more conversational on the board descriptions and on the profile description. There's probably a lot more, but I've tried to fill you in as much as I can off the top of my head there.
But you did mention too that pins can be shoppable, pins can be promoted.
Yeah, they can be promoted, click-throughs, engagements. I mean, when I first went into I was at Seller Sessions, I think it was in October last year, and I was kind of speaking to people, and it's like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, hey, I'm Pinterest, and I'm in a room full of Amazonians. I kind of felt like the wild card in the room. And I was like, but what I failed to realize is that Pinterest isn't actually against agencies, which can be a misconception, because obviously your PPC ratios, you've got Pinterest advertising. It can be an opportunity to redistribute your PPC ratios accordingly on Amazon, because it's 40% more cost effective. You can actually, instead of paying, say, $25 a hit for a top end product that's costing you a lot of money, you can be redirecting traffic, not just for attribution, but you could be redirecting traffic to the A9, which takes organics into consideration quite highly. So instead of just looking at, my advice, instead of looking at just the attribution sales of, say, 5 sales in a day, think about the 200 sales you could be getting from the affiliated traffic coming through. And then with ads on top of that, I think the top side, last time I looked, was about $3-4 on Pinterest compared to Amazon. So you could be actually hitting the top, your top fruit, so to speak, with this traffic, freeing up some of that money for a longevity of a client, say you're an agency. And then the bottom hanging fruits is use that money wisely and try and raise that up. And also Pinterest, another thing that I tell people is, because you're in this sort of, I call it the air traffic control, you're in this airport, you've got other marketplaces in there as well. Not even Pinterest kind of understand what they've got when we've been on calls with them. Because if you can't sell your stock that's stuck in FBA because you're not getting the traction on it, if you put it in Pinterest and it's worthy of, say, the Etsy community with a niche, you could be redirecting them to Amazon, but capturing the Etsy audience in Pinterest, not just Pinterest shop. And then you've got the Pinterest shop as well. You've got the Pinterest audience themselves. So it's kind of like you've got every single marketplace near enough and social on earth in Pinterest, and you could be actually capturing them in your funnel and redirecting them to Amazon. And people don't see it that way,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I really wasn't thinking about it that way as well. One thing I forgot to mention, anybody who's listening, I'm curious if you are using Pinterest. If you're not, why? So if you are, how's it going? If you're not, why are you not using Pinterest? And also questions. Matt's an expert on Pinterest. If you've got any questions whatsoever, there's no good, bad, or ugly questions. Just throw them up there, and we'll get them to you. Get that to them shortly. Okay.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, there we go. You think Post Purchase Pro is a tongue twister? Okay. So one of the things that I love working with is Google Business Profile. So Google Business Profile has its anchor URL, but it also has the ability to post and repost or retarget posts. So if I'm using Google Business Profile, I love it, by the way. I think it's such an underutilized tool. Can I tie that into my Pinterest account and sort of get double ranking that way?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the thing is, it doesn't take any kind of external traffic in that manner. As this is the thing. I mean, and I was one of these people. Is that the reason this kicked off is because it sounds awful, but I like the idea of more freedom of terms of service with marketing. And so with Amazon sometimes, and I know everyone's been here, you feel like not only is your business being sort of, streamlined, but your mind is as well. You're kind of like, well, I've got to follow these rules. And so with this mindset, some people struggle with the alternative, which is do whatever you want. As long as you're not offending anybody or you've got an illicit product, do whatever you want. So the A/B testing on this is it's almost limitless. This is the point. I mean, the hardest thing we had as an agency was actually giving route to market, because there was so many ways to do it. We had to really niche that down and have a comprehensive questionnaire with audits, because it was just like, how do we make sense of this when you can do anything? It's difficult, because it's like almost going into a room with candy, but you don't know which one you want to eat. What do you do? So yeah, my answer to that is yes, of course you can. And also because I've never had that question asked before, but I'd be interested because it's on the KAS, which is facilitated by Google. I wonder, yes, you can do it, but I wonder just how much of an impact you'd have, because like YouTube ranks highly as well. That'd be an interesting one. That it really would.
Maybe we can try it out. We'll see. We'll do our own case study.
Why not? Yeah.
There we go. So Danny, we're not going to tell you that either. You're going to do your thing. That's fine. Anyways, yeah, I love Danny. He's awesome. Okay. Now, what about influencers? Let's go back to that. If I'm selling on Pinterest, I want to build an influencer base. So every social media platform I know of has a different way to bring in influencers. How can we build up the influencer base and use them efficiently on Pinterest?
So this is the first time I've announced this, by the way, Norm. So I'm doing this Epic 150, and this ties in with what you've just said. So we're tying in TikTok and Snapchat and YouTube because you have the chance to go viral on Pinterest as well as TikTok. You can go viral twice. In fact, you can go viral on all of them if you do it in the right manner. What I mean by that is if you've got a product that's viral on TikTok and you post that to Pinterest with that traffic, there's a high possibility, if you've got the followers, or even not, because say, for example, if it's something that's really highly ranked, like I think normally dogs are the highest ranked pin on Pinterest. People love dogs. So, but if you had a viral video on TikTok that was a dog that did something cool, like jumped over a 20-foot wall, I'd love to see that myself. I don't know whether it exists, but I was thinking about that logically. I was thinking, oh, that'd be impressive. But if you had somebody jumped over a 20-foot wall and that went viral, put the video on Pinterest, because the synergy is underutilized, and the influencers as well could follow. This is why I'm doing this Epic 150, because for 150 days, I want to see just what traffic flow we can get from doing this daily and building, and from Instagram as well, So basically, the answer to that is you can go viral, and you can go viral multiple times on Pinterest because you have more than one pin. So, the virality on there is quite high as well. It's just underutilized again, I believe, anyway.
Okay. Yeah, there's just so much to take in when you're talking about Pinterest. It's old. It's an older social platform, but it's so new to me to get
Yeah.
back in and start
Yep.
doing this. Okay, so last question before we get to the questions. If I'm listening and I'm hearing this and I want to do this, what are some action steps that we can take just to get into it and to get started? Now, you don't have to get into your case study, but just
Yeah.
to get going. Like, I want to get going. I want to see if this thing will work.
Dead easy. So get onto Pinterest. If you've got a personal account, don't start pinning on there. Make sure that you convert it. It's very easy. There's a convert to, I think it says, I can't remember the exact words, but it just says start business account. Click on that and convert it to a business account. That's my first advice for anyone out there who's got a Pinterest account. Convert it straight away before you start doing anything, because you won't have the analytics or the data, the graphs, etc. You won't have that unlocked. So you get the business hub. The business hub to sign up with is so easy. It's not like Amazon, where you have to now have an interview, I think, from what I've heard. But basically, as somebody who I know recently had to do a face-to-face call to get an account on Amazon. It's gone a bit, I know. So just go on there, put your credentials in. Very easy. You can have up to 6 Pinterest accounts, so you can do different stores for different accounts. Once you've signed up, go to your Amazon store. If you are doing, obviously, attribution, just go to your campaign manager, go to your creatives, and make sure that you create the link. And then just create boards and create pins on Pinterest by just clicking the plus button on your phone or on your laptop. Create a pin. And even then, you can create the board while you're doing the pin if you don't have one. And that's it. That's pretty much it. That's the the basic overview of how to do it.
Huh. Okay, sounds simple. While you were talking, I had an account that I set up in 2016 and really haven't logged in.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And it's all soap. And I've just seen this and I'm shocked. I've got 2,500 followers.
Wow. There you go. This is what I mean.
I haven't done anything. I've got pins.
Because it's evergreen, it's flowing, and Google are reconditioning it on SEO. So that evergreen flow, that ecosystem, because I was in multimedia, I was trained to develop ecosystems, and I can see the potential. But there you go. I had one guy come up to me the other day. I won't say his name. He probably knows who he is if he's watching. 245,000 followers. Should I utilize that? I was like, what? Yeah, that's a lot of people who are interested in what you do.
This is crazy. And then I didn't realize this. I forgot about it, but yeah, I've got like all the different soap products that I sell up here on a board. I probably, based on what you said, I'm probably going to change that into carousels so it looks better. But anyways, I'm shocked. I completely forgot about
I'm happy for you.
Pinterest.
So I'm happy for you if you just, yeah. I mean, the fact you've opened that and seen that. The other thing is, one thing I would say, which I think is a really cool thing of Pinterest, is that you can actually create a pin with, say, the top 10 tips, like I said, of hairstyling, and then have the link going through to your Amazon page to sell. I mean, that is a strong call to action. I don't know anywhere in the world in that manner that would allow that externally, but also not penalize you for breaking terms of service by using that kind of marketing, marketing strategy. So it's crazy.
Cool. Yeah. If you watch Larry David, pretty cool. So, all right. So let's get into some questions.
I wouldn't pull that off. I said, you pull that off. I wouldn't. There's no way. Not a chance. Not in my accent. Not a chance.
All right, Kels.
All right. So questions from Redbeard. How big is Pinterest in Canada compared to the US?
Good question. But again, it depends where you're directing to. If somebody's searching, the thing is, I know Instagram recently updated their algorithm. If you're targeting socially, you're targeting a demographic area. So just remember, like Facebook, for example, if you're going to target somebody on Facebook, you might target, for example, stay-at-home moms, something like that, because you know that people are moms buying a demographic audience and they're staying at home. With Pinterest, it's a hybrid. So you can target people location-wise, and you can target not just keywords, but you can target the audience as well. So you could be targeting the keywords that you want a keyword for Google or Amazon, but you can also demographically be targeting people in Vancouver, for example. So when you say that, just remember that you could actually be targeting people socially wherever you want, as long as ads are actually available in your country. And there's a few countries that aren't on the ads incentive, but Canada, US are. I think the last one that was added, in fact, Brazil was added. I think there was a few others. All I'm saying is that it's not, don't think of it in a way where you're on for example, DE, which is Germany, or .US or .ca. It doesn't matter. As long as you get your ads right and you get your targeting right, you can target anyone because it's social geo. It's not marketing geo. I hope that makes sense.
Perfect.
Okay, next question. I believe this is from Clive. Hello, guys. I've started using Pinterest and I'm starting to see orders coming through. How can I learn more? Does Matt have any YouTube videos I can watch, or can you recommend any great show? Maybe a Facebook group, possibly?
Oh,
Yeah,
all
we've
of
got
that.
we've got if you type in pinformativegroup.com, that takes you to our Facebook store. Facebook group. I got fed up with saying the group URL, so I just decided to attach a URL to it. So yeah, if you go to pinformativegroup.com, that takes you to Facebook. You're going to laugh at this. I'm actually working on more YouTube accounts, but we don't actually have ours fully functioning because we've been that busy. Oh man, it's been nuts. So we have YouTube. We're ready to launch YouTube, but at the moment our clients are priority because we only launched literally at the end of last year. So we've got quite a few clients come through. We will have more videos on there, but if you go onto our Facebook, there's lots of videos and casts that I've done. There's lots of tips and tricks. There's, if you go to the media section on Facebook, you'll see there's quite a lot on there for you to sort of learn comprehensively.
Perfect. And you do have the course as well.
Yeah, and there's the course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, or our last question is from Argo. Do you recommend sending traffic directly to Amazon, or do you recommend a landing page for better conversion rates?
Oh, I don't want to discredit people here because there's a big conversation on this. If you want my advice, I always believe in deep data, raw, and I think that going direct is the best way for attribution, because attribution, people say it's a bit buggy, If you put more walls in place, sometimes that can sever the link.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice, if you go direct, if then you get more confident, do a landing page if you think it's going to work. But if you want a true connection, there's no better connection than going direct. It's for me, it's a no-brainer. That's just the way that I operate. So,
okay, very good. Okay, excuse me. I think that's it for the questions. Matt, do you have anything else to say about Pinterest?
I think the one thing that I say when I'm around, I'm getting around the world a little bit more. Not that I've got a choice because I'm trying to help people, but I like educating. This is why I'm doing it. I love going out there. It's not about anything else for me. I love what I'm doing at the moment, and it's difficult. And it's, I'd say, don't be scared of doing video pins, because people go, oh my God, I've got to create a feature length video. Canva's become more developed. There's other video tools out there. It's not about having a lifestyle-based, super, fancy, ultra high definition video. Get your videos on there, even if it's 12 seconds, because the videos carry a lot of data and metadata and keywords. So if you can get those videos on, then you'll be ranking, and then you can put your attribution links on that. So my advice is, if you're going to get onto Pinterest, videos rank very highly. Make sure you don't get scared of just doing a video, and just do, static images that are fading in and out. That's, that ranks equally as highly as well with your products.
Can you just turn on your iPhone and do a 15-second to 30-second video?
Yeah.
I mean, does that work?
Yeah, and this is why with this Epic 150 we are streamlining it to all the different platforms to come into Pinterest, is because you can do exactly that. Because obviously in Instagram you've got 15 seconds, 30 seconds. People's attention spans are lowered now, especially Gen Z upwards, because obviously they're used to seeing these short videos, short bursts. So if you can get that 15-second video on and you've captured the attention of the audience, and you've got the URL on of the product you want to sell, you've already got them in your listing on Amazon. So yeah, why
Makes
not?
perfect sense. Okay, so we are definitely going to be trying that out, and I'll let you know how that goes for us over the next few months. But hopefully, we get to that epic 150. So,
yeah, I mean, I've got some professional athletes, ex-professional athletes, conditioning. I've had to change my diet. Why am I doing it? I have no idea, because I think I'm going to blame Danny McMillan, because he's kind of influenced me on this a little bit. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, I've actually got 3 reasons why I'm doing it. The first reason is the traffic flow and, to get data. The second reason is because I had Lyme disease years ago, and I'm trying to see if I can get rid of the long-lasting health detriments that I've got. But the third reason is that, unfortunately, I lost a friend this year, and he was passionate about ADHD, and he followed this charity. So I'm going to try and do it for a charity as well at the same time. So
very,
it's
very
a
cool.
three-way thing.
Very cool.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, last question for you, then you're off the hot seat, is contact information. How do people get a hold of you?
Pigeons or birds?
Pigeons
No,
are
I'm
good.
joking. If they want to contact us, if you just email inquire, you could. If I give you my email address, I probably won't get back to you quick enough, because we've got a team. I'm just thinking the best way, really. Probably, if you want to contact us, it's support@pinformative.com. That's the best email. Or you can go onto our Facebook group and you can contact us through that way. Or LinkedIn as well is another way, through our Pinformative group on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. So we're going to be going over to a sponsor, our last sponsor ad today. However, while we're doing it, if you're interested in getting the course from Matt, it's #Wheel of Kelsey, #Pinterest. And if you're interested, tag 2 people and you'll get a second entry. Now, Kelsey, if you're doing your job, finger on the button, and let's go to a sponsor. A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities, supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together. All right, there we go. And Matt, you've never seen the Wheel of Kelsey, so stand back.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
There we go. All right, we've got the wheel going today. You can tell it's a holiday. So anyway, somebody's going to be a real lucky winner, because I think this is a great giveaway.
Oh. All right, so I'll give this a spin. Here we go. So if you are the winner of today's giveaway, please email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com, and we'll see who
Looks like
today's winner
Clyde's
is.
got it.
Michael.
Oh my God. There you go, Michael.
Wire.
Right on the wire.
All right.
Brilliant.
So congratulations, Michael. Please email us at k@lunchwithnorm.com, and we'll connect you with the giveaway. And Michael also said cool guest. And we do this every podcast too. So come back Wednesday for another giveaway. And thank you, everyone.
Okay, perfect. Well, this is awesome. I want to get you back on. I want to talk more about what you're doing, and maybe we can get you on next quarter or something. But really love the conversation today and learning about Pinterest. So you were awesome.
Thanks, Norm. No, I appreciate it. It's always cool when somebody can sit there, listen, take it all in, and ask great. Because to be honest, some of the questions that have been asked today are very important questions, and so I'm all up for answering whatever. No problem. be brilliant.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you. And stick around. You're going to be taken off the podcast, but just stick around. I got a couple of other questions to ask you. But
Sure.
all right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I know it's the 4th of July. So, yeah, people are probably sitting in their backyards eating bonbons. But I really appreciate you, all the community coming together today and showing up. So thank you. Thank you so much. And now, Kelsey, where are you?
All right. So yes, thank you everyone for watching. Again, if you're just tuning in and you maybe missed today's episode, you can always go back and listen.
This is a
on the
great
podcast.
episode. Who's talking about this? So, like Pinterest, I'm not kidding. I think there's a great opportunity here, and it's just you're always trying to one up the competition, and if you can do it this way, like what Matt was talking about today, who's talking about that? Nobody. So, anyways, I'm really keen on talking to him and seeing what we could do with some of our stuff.
Yeah, so like I was saying, you can find it, the recording of this on any podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple. This episode will be out next week on the Monday. So yeah, you can listen there. If you're watching from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe down below, hit that thumbs up, and ring that bell so you get all the notifications. And I want to mention one more time, our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and eCommerce Collective. It's a great place to get your questions in. Also, we are having a special webinar on Friday with Clayton from Carbon 6. He's going to go over some tools to help you excel in your Amazon business. He's told me that there's going to be some free giveaways and free trial periods. So stick around for that. We're going to put you guys up. Yeah, Clayton.
I met him in Paris.
And just a shout out to Francesco too from Carbon 6. He's been making this happen. So thanks to Francesco and the whole Carbon 6 team. So that's Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Check it out. And yeah.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us today. I always say this, and I can't be more sincere about it. We've got a great community. We could not do this podcast without you. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Lunch with the